Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, featuring today a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Yes, indeed, Langres. We shall be seeing two forces clash. It shall be in the northern half, WmdSandland, fighting for the Americans, fighting for the 1st Infantry Division, going up against the Huns, the Wehrmacht, and the Fivefingerdpunch is his name, fighting for the 328th Infantry Division is his game. Standing up with the Wehrmacht quarters in the eastern half of the map, so probably he's going to be focusing his force towards there. Otherwise, I mean, if he'd been intending to sort of go towards here perhaps a bit more, he might have placed it there. But here, so he's definitely got something planned here, and we are seeing a, what looks like at least initially, a 3-engineer start. No further flashing in the headquarters. So a 3-engineer start out there from WmdSandland, the Sandman. Going right there for the fuel point, and of course the connecting point as well. He's also in fact sticking rather severely to the right hand side, at least initially. First unit out there from the Wehrmacht quarters is the Fivefingerdpunch squad. And also note his barrack placement for Sandland is a bit curious. Usually you see it at the edge, but apparently not this time around. There we go, the 1st Infantry squad hits the field, marching out to the tunes of the fatherland, while Sandland is rather keen on securing every medium point, or at least some of the more interesting ones, on the right hand side, going for the fuel point, in fact the point that also connects this one. A rather interesting move. Pioneers set in, and what shall the engineers do? They in fact just pull back. Fivefingerdpunch moving up here, they could. Munitions point in fact secured. Fivefingerdpunch take up position here to sort of gain some line of sight to everything else, sort of try and keep track of his opponent, and of course prepare in case it gets rushed by riflemen, but that does not happen because the riflemen only really arrive at this stage. Again, that's sort of the slight weakness. You initially get off, but at the same time you can capture a lot more territory from the get-go. Looks like he's going for the victory point in the center. The munitions point over in the east, but the Fivefingerdpunch are moving in, opening up on the engineers, and the riflemen are switching over to join the engineers in the west. Might be trying to do some harassment there, while Fivefingerdpunch is going for the munitions right there. He's ignoring the fuel there. He's also ignored the fuel there. Interesting. Yes, 2nd squad of Fivefingerdpunch join in. The others are back in the house, hiding, waiting for the Americans to come, and then yes, they will spring their trap. But until then, they'll just be, well, taking points and watching and drinking tea. Points are being secured, and we are seeing the riflemen moving in here, going for that munitions point most likely. Sandland gaining a nice amount of map control initially, which is nice to see. MG42 out as the 3rd unit, another squad of riflemen out for WmdSandland. Munitions point being secured. Fivefingerdpunch moving up here to secure the center, and there we go. The schweres MG42 is ready. And riflemen are getting engaged. Fivefingerdpunch pulling up behind the heavy cover. There's another squad out in the flank, but that is wiring off this area to ensure no one sneaks in from the left-hand side. Riflemen are in fact focusing down the Pioneers. Note they're not shooting one shot at the Fivefingerdpunch, so clearly Sandland is hoping to do some damage right here. He might get one Pioneer, but overall actually this didn't quite work out for him. He did not manage to stop this being taken, and he's actually losing several riflemen to the Fivefingerdpunch and now the MG42 support. 4-man lost in fact, and he only got 1 Pioneer in return. At the same time though, he's making good progress over here, taking the victory point and now cutting this off, while he's also rendered the high munitions neutral. But we are seeing Fivefingerdpunch trying to return the favor. He's going for the cutoff point of Sandland. We are seeing the MG42 switching over. We are seeing Pioneers with flamethrowers, the Flammenwerfer, and we're seeing Bavois. He's really wiring off this area. And we are seeing a supply yard up already within 5 minutes, and he's only got 2 rifleman squads. I bloody well think Sandland is going for an armored car rush. It's actually a bit rarer nowadays, but I mean it can still happen. We are seeing a 3rd squad of Fivefingerdpunch out an MG42. He definitely, I mean, of course he's not aware, but I mean if he wants to actually be able to stop this with a pack, he actually needs to head for the skirmish phase. But no, he's going for a 5th squad. He's acting and reacting as if the Sandland is actually getting a lot more infantry. He's not aware of what's going on, that Sandland is in fact only fighting with 2 squads of riflemen. He's basically just keeping up as much pressure as needed for Mr. Five-Fingered Punch to think something's happening, but he's not sure. This is quite interesting. This is definitely getting the most out of small resources right there by Sandland. Very risky play though, very risky. But if he can pull it off, it's going to be huge. Because again, he's going to have an armored car at this stage. I mean, Five-Fingered Punch is not even going to have Panzerfaust to stop it if he's not ready. And there we go, the motor pool is up. Bunker on the way. Oh, yeah, he's going for an even heavier initial tier. He's actually trying to sort of wire this off. He's trying to protect the cutoff point, which is certainly a good idea. But I do fear he's going to get one hell of a surprise in a few minutes. But, I mean, it is rare you actually see an an armored car rush by the Americans. It is pretty rare because, I mean, it does mean you have to a certain extent sort of give up the early map control, at least sort of render yourself a bit vulnerable to a good solid German counterattack. But it is what's happening. We are seeing another push here, but the engineer's basically just there. And he's basically, I think he's just doing it to sort of keep his opponent's attention sort of tied up, thinking that he's not going to get hammered with an armored car any minute now. Though, of course, the securing of this point does limit how much fuel that Sandland can get, but there's still this point. And, of course, if you could attack here, I mean, this could pretty much be game over for Sandland. But again, there's still time, and now there's an armored car on the way. We are now seeing the skirmish phase coming in. Ravn here taking heavy losses, getting sent away. Well, the one squad of Volkskriegs moved a bit too close and took a severe thrashing. Yeah, the squad leader is actually alive. Surprising. No, I think he's... Yeah, he's going to wire off these areas as well. He's going to really try and limit his opponent's infantry movement. But at the same time, of course, there's a slight detail that the armored car's not really going to give a damn about that. And there we go, the Greyhound rolls in. He doesn't even have the munitions for a Panzerfaust. Which of course is good, otherwise, I mean, this armored car would be in a lot of trouble without the armored skirts. And of course, perhaps Five-Fingered Punch is sort of trying to play a game to sort of make him pretend, oh right, I've got a Panzerfaust, I'm just not using it. My mother says I can't, not until I've had to eat my dessert. Or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. But now the armored skirt is up. It's too late now, of course. MG42 needs to retreat, and there we go, one man down. He's not full retreating, going for the cutoff point, but getting stopped by the MG42, rather moving up in the flank. And of course, we do have the armored car now, and we are also seeing Sandland swiftly moving on to a weapon support center. This is Steve's. Oh, the MG42 is actually in the middle of everything. It's already taking losses, and a 50 caliber is now mounted on the armored car. And Five-Fingered Punch just lost in his MG42. The 328 are certainly getting a bit outmaneuvered right here for the 1st Infantry Division, getting some nice armored car support. And clearly, he's not expecting this. He's probably a bit unsure what to make of it, in fact. And that's only the slight risk that happens when you actually go for such an extended initial tier. I mean, that is 3 full grenades, 2 MG42s, and a bunker. I mean, you do risk leaving yourself vulnerable, really vulnerable to an armored car rush. And I mean, that's sort of the thing you always have to balance as the Wehrmacht. You know, how much do you want to prepare against initial infantry rush, and how much do you want to prepare, you know, against any sort of rushes by armored cars, for example. Because an well-executed armored car rush can really do a lot of damage if you're not careful. Although so far it seems like Sandland is not fully pushing it for all it's worth. I mean, he's still doing some damage, and definitely getting an MG42 that early is huge. No attempt at Panzerfausting by Five-Fingered Punch. I think that's a bit of a miss. But we are seeing the anti-tank gun is ready, the Panzerabwehrkanone 38. Volkskriegs need to retreat. Mortar rounds going in. He's actually using his weapon support and enough for a sniper, but for the mortar to basically bombard any positions and probably also deal with a pack. This is really interesting and clever play. This is definitely not what we're used to seeing. At least not what I'm used to seeing. So, I mean, jolly good job, Sandland. And I mean, this is certainly one of the favored Wehrmacht plays, besides the one with 2 Volkskriegs sniper MG. I mean, this is a rather nice, strong one. Can handle a lot of what the Americans can throw at you in terms of infantry, offensively and defensively. But at the same time, of course, this is rather what Sandland is trying to subvert. He's going for armored car rushes, which clearly Five-Fingered Punch is not ready for. And of course, he's going for the other part, which is rather the static defense part of it, with mortar rounds. And at the same time, Five-Fingered Punch is just rushing on. He's just, okay, get up, pack, quickly, move on. Los geht's, Männer. And he's moving on for the Sturm Armory. I think he might be trying to sort of get something from that. Let's go have a look at Sandland, but definitely already a rather different game. Certainly not the usual sort of stuff we get to see very often. Supply and upgrade, but again, 2 rifleman squads, 3 engineer squads, none of them with a flamethrower, by the way. And armor doctrine. This is some really interesting stuff. Again, highly irregular. I mean, it could really end up badly, but at the same time, if it works, it's really going to work. Engineers suffering here to the Volkskriegs on the eastern flank. And, I mean, already note this armored car has gained 9 kills, again, due to the advantage. Mines getting spotted, of course, also note. Engineers can sweep mines as long as they're spotted. I mean, they don't need a minesweeper specifically to clear up the mines themselves. They just need them to spot them. And, of course, I mean, Sandland actually has got munitions for, like, laying down 2 Greyhound mines, if he so wants to. At the same time, we are seeing some riflemen, although heavily wounded. Mine right there by the German player, the 328th, who's now clearly calling in some support from up nearby Panzer Division, probably the 2nd, or the Panzerlehr. There we go, mines being swept. Mortars keep firing away at those dirty crowds. Causing certainly a bit of problems right there for Fivefingerdpunch. He's having a bit of difficulty now, of course, in establishing some sort of strong point, because that's going to get hammered by the mortar. Of course, he can stall this by getting a Nebelwerfer or a mortar of his own. But of course, question is, will he do that? And now the bunker is coming under fire. Rather than get forced away by a quick push by the Volksgrenadiere. Pack opening up on the armor car, gets off nice, 2 hits. Bunker a bit damaged. Sandland is a bit contained, but he's definitely also got a bit of a drop on Fivefingerdpunch, who's probably a bit confused as to what he's supposed to do. And we aren't actually seeing Sandland trying to set up a medic station enough, although he hasn't finished it. Grenadiers moving up. Puncher Schreck. Equipped. MD42 firing in support. Grenadier down as they advance. No idea why he needed to rush them up. Veterans 1, oh, this is actually a bit of a miss, though he's actually doing a lot of damage to the rifle, and I do think getting 2 Grenadiers killed is perhaps a bit over the top. Mortar, though, keeps hammering away. Trying to get that medic bunker, that's definitely not a bad idea. I mean, the placement could, have been behind here a bit less obvious. Again, I mean, there's a trick to medic bunker placement, needs to idle it thanks to thing is, close to the front line, where you want to fight, but at the same time, not so the enemy can directly see it, of course, get to it. And there we go, the armor car is in, gets hit by the armor car, mortar pulling back. Armor car out of control, Sandland got a bit reckless there. Amerikanische Panzer-Spähwagen kaputt. Rifleman getting stopped here by the MG42, and the bunker is actually still standing. Medics pulling in the wounded. Pioneers, and looks like we're getting a German armored car moving in, and without anything to really stop it, Sandland is a bit of trouble. He can only now get an anti-tank, but again, medic station, jolly good job. Definitely some attrition work there. Place there, although of course he's going to have less units to actually pick up wounded from. There we go, full retreat from the old Sandland. He's definitely a bit in trouble there. He's getting hit on every side. Mines going off here to mortar rounds. And the mortar is actually a bit exposed. Careful, Sandland. Anti-tank gun though ready. Going to turn around and deal with that Kraut car. And there we go. Nice hit. Will Fivefingerdpunch punch away, or will he pull away? Oh, that was very close. He could easily have lost that armored car right there, but he's definitely getting some infantry kills. He could also consider now getting a Nebelwerfer to bombard Sandland's base to keep up the pressure. And Sandland's actually getting Browning automatics with only 2 rifleman squads. This is definitely some bold stuff. Volkskriegs and MG42's ready. Bunker getting repaired. Volkskriegs moving up on the right flank again. He's getting most of the map right now. Sandland is back to pretty much his base. He's slowly advancing, pushing up with riflemen, anti-tank gun, and the mortar to deal with any dug-in Kraut positions. Mines going down to protect against any counterattacks and flanking attacks. This is well done. Nicely executed right there by Sandland. And there we go. Mortar firing away. Probably what he imagines is going to be the sort of main position of German resistance. Oh, nice push up by the Germans, and the anti-tank is actually right in the line of fire. Somewhat Volkskriegs getting pushed away there. The BAR certainly increases the firepower of the riflemen greatly, but against 2 infantry squads. But there we go, the mortar firing awfully close. Aids the riflemen, who are veterans who won, by the way, increasing the accuracy of the rifles and the BARs. More riflemen moving in, and both of them, in fact, veterans who won. Armored car sneaks up behind, does not rush into the base, though. Could have outflanked this position and done a lot of damage. I think that was a bit of a miss there by Fivefingerdpunch. He's getting a Goliath out now. Armored car needs repairs. And what is going on in this base? Kampfkraft center. Not bad, but I think, again, a needle effort to bombard his opponent's positions would do the trick, and Goliath did very little. Oh well. Fivefingerdpunch does hold the position, but I think he needs something else than armored cars. He also needs to salvage this, by the way, but I think he needs, again, something to bombard, or some Stug, something that's a bit more useful in his direct front line. Stop the enemy's assault position. More anti-tank guns on the way, sticky bombs on the way. Again, he needs Nebelwerfers or mortars. He needs some artillery on his own. He needs a proper combined arms suite, which currently Sandland, despite, lacking some of the more motorized or mechanized options, still has. He's got anti-tank guns, infantry, mortars, support, all that. And also note, he's not being silly by not moving up the anti-tank and up to the other one. He's in fact doing this, I imagine at least. That's how we do it, to keep the other one covered. This is what you'd call defense in depth, that is. I mean, it's not going to be over as soon as the first anti-tank gun is passed. There's going to be another one covering that one. So, I mean, it means it's going to be a much more painful experience for Fivefingerdpunch to make the move. And of course, it means he has to be a lot more careful. And there we go. He's moving in for the one, but there's still the other anti-tank gun right behind. Of course, he needs to turn it a bit. But clearly, Fivefingerdpunch is not going to be aware. And he's actually trying to move ahead. Now, he's not quite fully aware. And there we go. Out of control. Schwere Panzerspielwagen kaputt. And again, try to sort of think your defense is a bit ahead. Try to imagine, again, you've got something at the front, but you usually want to ensure that there's more to that. Otherwise, of course, he's just going to deal easily with it. A good defense also has things your opponent can't see. That's just as important. It's not just about deterring him. It's also about drawing into a trap. And that really was what happened there. Sandland sprung a trap. Though Sandland is, Fivefingerdpunch is quick to steal the anti-tank gun, which is certainly not a bad idea. Definitely ensures that Sandland doesn't get it. Of course, protects against any armor hitting him. So in that case, nicely done. Veterancy on the way for the infantry, I imagine. Yes, already veterancy 2. Not much going on for Sandland. Although soon got a full rifleman squad. He's a bit pressured though. He's a bit caught in his own base. Pioneer salvaging the armored car. Salvaging both of them. Riflemen advancing. Push up by the Volksgrenadiers. A large, solid infantry force again, ensuring they work in cooperation with each other. What we like to see. While the Grenadiers also work in cooperation with each other. He could actually get an LMG-42. Would help against the infantry a bit. Volksgrenadiers getting run off. He could also consider at least upgrading one of the Volksgrenadier squad with an MP40. To sort of give a bit of extra firepower up close. While the others then support at range. But again, interesting choice that Sandland went for armor. He's definitely going for sort of trying to hold things up and then going for some sort of armored punch, be it Pershing or Calliope. But seeing as he has allied war machine, he's definitely going for the Calliope. Sniper out for Sandland. Going to try and shoot out the German defenders. The 328th though is holding up nicely. Getting a repair bunker as well. Nice thinking. Both anti-tank guns, although more in a line. Less depth, although of course a broader line. Riflemen pushed away. MG getting sniped. Propaganda war. Grenadiers charging in. Volksgrenadiers could have been moving in from the flank, although there's a mine, so not sure. But we are seeing the 3rd Rifleman squad ready to support. Grenadiers suffering a bit, and of course Sandland sniper revealing himself, doing a lot of damage while the Riflemen sort of keep up the back rear line. And there we go. Volksgrenadiers moving in, trying to support, but not quite enough. MG getting hammered with mortar, I imagine, fire, and of course anti-tank gun fire. The old barn is quickly dissolving. That's for sure, and Sandland just keeps on pushing and pushing and pushing. If only Fivefingerdpunch had some artillery. Something like, say, a Nebelwerfer, then he could easily turn things around. But instead, he's going for a Panzer Command. I do think, again, an Eagle would be the better choice in this case. Still, he's holding most of the map, although, again, I think he could afford to make some moves over here to try and retake that victory point. And he just lost his second MG42. I have no idea why he's being so reckless with them. And poor Hans got sent flying out of the barn. Engineers getting murdered. The armored car tore through them. Veterans, he won for them, increasing or decreasing the damage they actually take. But lots of infantry back at base, quickly sent away again. And now, in fact, the entire centre is largely open for an infantry, since there's only really 2 anti-tank guns to keep it all together. And they're not really going to cut it, even with an armoured car in support. Another armoured car for Sandland. Fun. They're immediately encountering a grenadier squad with a Panzer, but the grenadiers move in from the other side, going in for the riflemen. Mines going off left and right, really doing a lot of damage to Sandland's infantry. At least Fivefingerdpunch has been keeping up on the mine department. Pushed by the Volksgunners and the Pioneers up the centre. A bit of infantry for the Pioneers might help a bit, give them a bit of healing. Perhaps that's into 2 for elite armour, making them that much more tougher for the riflemen to deal with. Mortar, mortar round got the Pioneer squad, not the flamethrowers one, but still excellently done. Again, the mortar's definitely paying itself off, I think. Anti-tank gun sorted out by the riflemen. Panzer Command is up. What sort of panzery goodness shall we be seeing? In fact, let's go return to Fivefingerdpunch and find out. By the way, he's gone Tank Destroy. I mean, not Tank Destroy, Terror. Silly Dane. The point is ours. We've got to hold on. But a Panther calling in. I suppose he's expecting the tank doctrine, since he's not seen a single strafing run, airborne or artillery strike. But even then, perhaps a Panzer IV would be better suited for all that infantry. Just a thought. At least initially. The Pioneers clearly a bit stressed out since they scream that the mines are done. And they're being kept at the front line. Again, no veterancy. I think even one bit of veterancy could pay itself off. Pioneer down, and now he's actually just wrecked the anti-tank gun. Make up your mind. Here you go. Propaganda war sending the rifleman running. Anti-tank gun moving up. Rifleman keeping secure. Armor car though needs to be careful again. No defense in depth. One covering the other. Though this one is clearly not supported enough by other units. And there we go. And now he's... Why are you insisting on doing that Fivefingerdpunch? That's not even making sense. There we go, though anti-tank gun sorted out by the heroics of the sniper. Panzerfaust, and there we go, American armored car gone. Also note we got Eurogamer coming up here tomorrow. I won't be going since, well, I can't really afford it. But still, of course, I'll be doing my best to keep you updated. So, of course, keep following the channel. And, of course, follow me on Twitter. We'll, of course, be retweeting and sort of detailing everything I sort of find out. Panther, though, taking heavy damage from the front from the anti-tank gun. Panther needs to pull away. Another sticky bomb. But he is certainly keeping Sandland within his base. Immobilized Panther right in front of the anti-tank gun. Oh, dear. Looks like, though, he is able to save it. And there we go. The anti-tank gun was brutally wrecked. One squad of Volksgunners, well, one man basically needs to retreat. And we are seeing a King Tiger ready at the same time. An Ostwind arrives. Interesting. Panther still disabled. Pioneers still are moving up to repair. Mortar rounds on it. They'll probably try and clear out the Pioneers repairing it. Riflemen suffering to the wrath of the Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers, although they themselves are taking heavy fire. Mortar just keeps firing again. Its target is clearly the Pioneers repairing the Ostwind. I mean the Panther. And the repair Pioneers are not close enough. Another anti-tank gun ready. Riflemen moving up. Armor car doing what it can, but it's also too close. Fivefingerdpunch clearly got a bit too bold there, and we are seeing another squad of riflemen reformed, which is in fact now up to 4 rifleman swords. Absolutely amazing. Ostwind moves in, but a thing to note about the Ostwind, it does not have a lot of life. I mean, in fact, it has about the same health of a Stug 4, but its armor is nowhere near as good. So, I mean, you really shouldn't be trying to use it as a tank. It's more of a support weapon, sort of to keep behind things, flank and such like that. But, I mean, don't just throw it in like a tank, because it's not. Panther still stuck. Wait, there we go. Pull it back to the repair bunker. At the same time, the Königstier arrives. The Tiger 2 rolls into Langres. But will it be enough? And of course, this is going to hurt. Fivefingerdpunch manpower income for about 3 minutes, I believe. It's about 500 manpower loses through upkeep. That way, I mean, ultimately, a King Tiger will cost 1,000 manpower, but of course, expecting a player to sort of save that up is a bit unfortunate. So rather the other way is, of course, you get sort of, you have to pay 500 manpower up front, and then you sort of pay the other 500 through manpower upkeep penalties. King Tiger, though, getting blasted with a lot of fire. Grenadiers, folks, is getting run off. Oh, Grenadier needs to retreat. Quick Zug. Oh, very close, very close. And Grenadier squad down. Folks is retreating. Veteran G2 for those riflemen. Veteran G1 moving up. Panther taking a bit of nasty damage. Again, knee buffers would have been excellent for clearing up the anti-tank guns. It does boggle the mind why Fivefingerdpunch is not really bothering with it. And King Tiger standing on top of its own mine. That's really something to be careful about. Of course, the King Tiger can suffer a lot of, direct anti-tank gunfire. It was sort of built for that. I mean, that is the purpose of anti-heavy tanks generally, to take in where the fighting is heaviest and sort of walk through all the fire, or drive through it more specifically. And of course, while that's not going to be fully reflected in company use, I mean, even then, it's going to be the sort of thing you actually throw into the frigate, because again, it has a lot of health and a lot of frontal armor. Though again, it should be with support, and that Panther definitely needs to get out of there. Now the King Tiger pushes up. Again, though unsupported, an armor car could hit the flank. Come on, move it in. Fivefingerdpunch, punch, punch, punch. And there we go, lots of shot bouncing off the very heavy frontal armor. I believe we're talking about 200 millimeters of sloped armor or something like that. Fulton is getting shot up by 2 rifleman squads moving in from other side. Another squad not really in a good support position either. Grenadiers could move up. No idea why Fivefingerdpunch did not pull up a lot of support for that King Tiger's advance. And at the same time, we are seeing an Ostwind moving in. So far, only really 1 kill. Bit of a shame. And I suppose what Panzer IV might have done the trick just as well then, in particular since he could also deal a bit more with any sort of enemy armor. Plus, of course, a bit tougher overall than an Ostwind. Bit of quiet now. I imagine Sandland is getting ready for another assault. He's certainly wearing down Fivefingerdpunch bit by bit, shot by shot, dead kraut by dead kraut. And a Veteran G1 mortar. Pioneers getting sniped. Has to repair the King Tiger. Mortar setting out a bit though, close to the front line. King Tiger though is still forced away. Rifleman moving up, going to sticky bomb the armored car. Taking a hit though from the King Tiger. Propaganda War saves it. Volksgrenadiers hook around, going to hit the mortar in the rear. Rifleman moving up to quickly react to this. Another squad moving in, securing the pack. Mortar round hits directly the King Tiger. Anti-tank gun recruit killed. 2 riflemen left. Volksgrenadiers themselves send off. The rifleman managed to save the day right there. But the Ostwind moves in from the flank. Another Volksgrenadier squad and Grenadiers arrive. This is total chaos. Sandland quickly shifts around the anti-tank guns, but again we're seeing German armor moving up for the front. Armored car hitting the flank. Grenadiers getting sniped. And the armored cars and anti-tank guns have been trying to get the Ostwind, but now the King Tiger, the Panther. Oh, the armored car rolls in front of the 2 anti-tank guns. And there we go. We do see the defense and death concept getting a bit watered out. Oh, never mind. We still have one there. That's in fact 3 57mm anti-tank guns if they all get armor-piercing rounds. Sticky bomb on the King Tiger and immobilized. The Panzerlehr King Tiger is immobilized, and the Panzerlehr did have 1 King Tiger along its other Tigers, though not because it was supposed to have really sort of organically, but it had a Funkline company attached to it, and those were basically tanks used for radio controlling Goliaths. And there we go, though. Veterans are free for the anti-tank gun, huge bonuses, and the King Tiger is gone. Long live the King. Until another one arrives, that's going to be some time, since you can only get 1 at a time. Definitely a huge blow right there to Fivefingerdpunch again. He should have been a bit careful again. He should have had artillery. I mean, again, combined arms matters. I mean, really, this mortar again might not look like it's doing a lot, but still it's doing something. It's actually ensuring that his opponent can't really so much keep up a good solid front line. Volkskreuzer moving in to try and stop this evil mortar. Die Granatenwerfer müssen zerstören. And mortar dead rather than moving in. Veteran G2. A few Volkskreuzer getting torn up at the front line as well. Panther blasting away a bit of Veteran G2. Good help. Ostwind not in a good condition. Sandland quickly recruiting the mortar. Panther advances. 11 kills. Though quickly under fire from the anti-tank guns again. And another one recruit. That means 3 anti-tank guns. And again, it's rather a job for some artillery to sort of dig that out, or some flanking assault with more armor, or just a nice infantry push. Panther continues to suffer under the anti-tank gun's fire, rather than getting further and further losses. And there we go, Firestorm getting 1 anti-tank and a few riflemen. Ultimately, though, I think that might have been expended better. Perhaps a bit earlier, you know, during the entire large assault that just happened. And he's got, what, 7 Pioneers repairing the Panther. A few Grenadiers holding the line. Ostwind moves in. Tries to destroy the anti-tank gun. Looks like he will succeed, and looks like Sandland is paying it no heed. And there we go. German infantry assault moving in. A huge wave of Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers. A bit brutish, a bit Soviet in tactics right there. And at least for everything, I think he would have benefited from at least one with an MP40. You know, a bit of assault weaponry. I mean, in that sort of case, you know, just having rifles is not really going to do the trick, as if you know, had MP40s. So I definitely think that's also a bit missed. And there we go. Mortar just keeps on killing, tearing through the assault. In fact, stopping it up. Anti-tank on wreck. Another one getting cleared out. Ostwind down. Die Flakpanzer ist kaputt. Down to a Panther. From, you know, having an Ostwind, several armored cars, and a King Tiger. This is some absolutely huge losses for Fivefingerdpunch. Definitely looks like Sandland is making his way towards a rather nice comeback. Another bunker going up. Considering the positioning, it might be a repair bunker. Not a repair bunker. Dang. I'm about to say a machine gun bunker. Of course, to protect this point, certainly that's not a bad idea. But it's certainly also a bit shows in your desperation. He usually had a lot of armor. Now he's sort of like, Scheiße. Get the bunker up. Widerstand nächste. Halten Sie die Feind. Not one step back. And all that. And there we go. The Veteran 3 anti-tank gun fully repaired. Fully healed at the Trier Center. I mean, Sandland is definitely not going to be wasting something like that. That is excellent. Oh my bloody hell. I think he just... Oh dear. I think he just lost all of his Pioneers. He lost 6 Pioneer squads. Ow. I mean, be careful about, you know, climbing up when repairing. Another Ostwind arrives, but again, that is a huge loss. That is, in fact, 360 manpower. Empty bunker up. Panther taking a hit. Ostwind moving in. Rifleman getting hammered. Murdered, but they do manage to get off a sticky bomb on the Panther. Damaged engine. Moving in against another Rifleman squad. The Austrian leads the way. Again, should be careful about that. And a full grenadier assault up on the right flank. Failed. Close to getting that, and he's clearly trying perhaps now to just go for the victory point drain. He knows he's lost any great opportunity again, though. I think he can turn around with a Nebelwerfer, you know. The Werfer des Nebels. The smoke thrower or fork thrower.
What are my coordinates?
But apparently that's not within his scope. And there we go, the Veterans Free anti-tank really got a nice hit, and I mean, the American anti-tank, I believe, gets quite a nice bonus, a Veterans Free for damage. Sadly, the anti-tank gun does not make it out of there safely. The Veterans Free gun is gone. The huge loss of the 1st Infantry Division as the counter-attack by the 328th once more pushes forwards. Volksgrenadiers Grenadiers lead the way. One gets sniped and Veterans Free for Sandland Sniper. And we might be seeing another veteran Rifleman squad out, which would in fact push it up to 5. If only Mr. Fivefingerdpunch had a Panzer 4 or 2 and a Nebelwerfer. Volksgrenadier squad taught. Get turtoned, in fact. And there we go, another push, and in fact now the central line is much more weakly exposed. No medic bunker, only an MG bunker, and the Austrians not really in condition to fight either. And the anti-tank gun swiftly recruit as well. Some really grim losses right there for the Wehrmacht. Lots of pioneers gone, bunker gone, troops gone, armor gone. And now we're seeing a Calliope to add insult to injury. With a severe amount of rockets mounted. And a 5th squad of riflemen pushing out.
Time to kill some Krauts. Ready to take the field.
Rolling up with an arseload of rockets. Adding more artillery and a more larger combined arms approach, which sadly Fivefingerdpunch is still lacking, rendering a bit more of a 3-fingered punch. Not sure what Fraps is up to all of a sudden. Another infantry assault, of course, right in front of the Calliope, which of course he doesn't know quite yet exists. Of course, they're still there. Veterans who 1 mortar, 10 kills. Calliope rockets fly. Thankfully, the infantry largely makes it away, although a few Calliope rockets do a little more damage. And the Panther went down. Anti-tank and secures a kill. Veteran 2. Oh dear. I mean, that's one hell of a comeback, but again, I do think it has been largely facilitated due to a lack of artillery by our friend from the 328th. More firestorms, and again, firestorms are nice, but not quite the same as a Nebelwerfer. A bit more revealing in sort of when they are. And again, I think a Nebelwerfer 2 could have done a lot to sort of basically break up Sandland's attacks. Smaller force moving westwards. More on the way from the Panzer Command. We're down to basically 1 Ostwind at the moment. Versus 5 squads of riflemen, snipers, mortars, Calliopes, everything nasty. And there we go, Ostwind moving in. Veterans free for 1 squad of riflemen. Grenadiers getting absolutely murdered. And he could be losing another Grenadier squad. Oh no. And 2 sticky bombs on the Ostwind. What are you doing, Fivefingerdpunch? Now you're not even punching. At least not with a fist. With an open hand, and that's painful. Not really effective. More pioneers getting called in, and he's just placing the Ostwind in the middle of the road. Pioneers murdered. Ostwind gone.
We're down to 100 points.
And he's down to, well, 3 infantry squads, 2 Volksgrenadiers and a Grenadier. I mean, this is a huge turnaround. And Sandland, well, pretty much largely did this for a large part of the game without really losing a lot of units. But all of a sudden, I mean, now Fivefingerdpunch is bleeding profusely. I mean, he's got some serious explaining to do to headquarters once he gets back. I mean, he's lost a King, Tiger, Panther, Ostwinds, armored cars, Grenadiers, packs, MG42s. And now we're seeing a Pershing arrive, and he's just getting another Ostwind. Oh dear. Oh dear, this is really the end. Looks like the repair bunker is coming under fire from the mortar once more. Pershing pushing up, Ostwind moving in. The Ostwind is going to get itself one hell of a surprise. And there we go, Pershing moves in. Misses, blows up the ground instead. Panzer hits and fails to penetrate. And we are seeing a Panther on the way. That's something. But the Ostwind is getting hunted down desperately. And again, note 3 units now on Ostwind. Not really impressive. Volkswagen is getting hammered by the rockets. And the Ostwind desperately tries to escape its pursuer. Hoping for the Panther to arrive. Main gun destroyed, one more hit, and it is good night, Ostwind. No, scratch that. One more hit now, and it's goodbye, Ostwind. Good night, in fact. Field repairs. Not sure what's going on with Fraps, sadly, but there we go. Ostwind out of control. And gone. Panther almost ready, but will it be enough? In particular, considering the circumstances.
Losing a sector.
Another squad run off. And there we go. The Panther rolls out on the field. Mortar now, in fact, Veterancy 2. German infantry advances run out in front of everything. Gets hit by the Pershing. Panther moves in. Propaganda war stops the rifleman squad. I think a V1 rocket might have perhaps been a bit more helpful at a certain distance, so perhaps to catch the armor, destroy it with the mighty Vengeance rockets. But it rather seems that Fivefingerdpunch is a bit of a loss at this stage. Tragically at a loss, one might even add. Anti-tank gun moves up. More rocket. More rocket fire. A nice firestorm going in, but simply too little too late. Again, this is the sort of situation where Nebelwerfer would have been more helpful. Instead of the sort of huge, flare, rather designating where the artillery come, and Nebelwerfer might have been a bit more helpful, also in keeping the infantry's heads down. And I think another Ostwind, really? Another one? He seems to be stuck in a bit of a Panther Ostwind mindset, not really able to sort of shift perhaps towards a bit, even towards a Panzer IV or something else a bit more helpful. And there we go, Sticky Bombs coming in. Volkswagen's doing what they can to support their Panzer support. But the Pershing arrives, damaged engine on the... And the Pershing keeps on killing. The Panther is pretty much a dead kitty cat at this stage. Some unfortunate riflemen though seem versus the Panther, the Pershing. Pantrick arrives. Perhaps an inspired assault could inspire towards victory. Ended at the same time getting blasted. Pershing gets away. Sandland beautifully pulls it back. Ostwind on the way. Another Ostwind? Are you mad? You don't need more Ostwinds. You need armor. You need something to take on the Pershing, and perhaps all the other things supporting it. Ostwinds just aren't cut out for that. Rifleman squad though gets wiped out.
Yes, comrade. Ready for orders.
Still, question is, can Fivefingerdpunch turn things around after what he's lost? Another propaganda war. I think that was a bit of a waste of munitions. Oh, now he's completely cancelling it, going for a Panzer IV instead. About damn time.
Light armor ready.
Well, it's not going to make such a huge impression against the Pershing as a Panther, but still could help a bit. And definitely against the infantry a bit more. And certainly a bit cheaper in manpower than a Panther. And he's sending in the Ostwind, I think, to try and clear out the Pioneers, supporting him. But again, perhaps should have been a slightly more coordinated assault instead of sending in the Ostwind on its own. Again, Ostwind has low health and not the strongest armor. And there we go, crashing into a strategic point, going for the cut-off point, but failing. Panzer IV almost ready. Mortaring away. Panther Grenadiers moving up. Perhaps one last push by the German infantry. Pershing arrives from the rear. Mortar rounds hit the Grenadiers. Engineers arrive to support the Pershing. You might be seeing a sticky bomb, and there we go. The Panzer IV arrives as well. Sticky bomb. Immobilized Panther again. Riflemen moving up, Pioneers rushing in, anti-tank and also on the field. And the Riflemen might be trying to disable the Panzer IV. Main gun destroyed. Mortar rounds hit the Pioneers. Well played. And there we go. Panther down, veterancy free for the Pershing. Panzer IV left behind with a mess. Great comeback, thanks man. Let's just speed this up. And there we go. And play back. Oh, not really a bad player, but he certainly makes some rather grim mistakes. Again, that rather came down to the sort of combined arms aspect. He lacked artillery. I mean, Sandland had some very light ones in terms of the mortar, but still, that rather did enough to sort of allow him slowly to come back against Fivefingerdpunch. I mean, if he'd gotten some Nebelwerfers, I'm pretty confident he would have won this, but there never materialized any real proper artillery. We just saw the occasional firestorm, which did little to nothing. Again, combined arms, you need something, covering different aspects, including artillery, including something that can hammer the opponent and his static defenses. That really never materialized with the German player. I mean, the medic station and the medic bunkers definitely paid off, but I mean, greatly for Sandland, and certainly also his sort of armored car rush. And generally, his slightly curious sort of initial units he got, I mean, rather probably also helped, rather was a bit more difficult and curious for Fivefingerdpunch to help, but he managed to come back from that. But again, the main problem was essentially no artillery, nothing to really sort of support on the defense or the offense. And again, that probably hurt him the most and allowed Sandland a rather successful comeback. And of course, it didn't help with all the Panthers and the Ostwinds. Just again, we had that all thrown in, which again sort of failed miserably because there was something lacking in between to sort of keep it all contained. So, there you go. Do hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? And of course, be sure to follow me on Twitter. So, there you go. Cheers.